Alright. Hello, Tenshi. Sorry we couldn't, work out a time to do the VOD together. Like I mentioned, we can go over whatever in voice chat or while we're playing, or even go over, watching this back if you'd like after the fact, whatever works for you. But we'll definitely talk about it. I like to, when I'm doing VODs, kind of stick to like a couple different topics, if that makes sense. So I like to do like in between, one and three topics. Let me just pull up my notes real quick. The topics I kind of want to go over with here in this scrim are mainly tempo and positioning. And what I mean by tempo is like trying to control the pace of the game, like when to be pushing, when not to be pushing, all of that sort of stuff. And then positioning, obviously, like just where you want to be as the tank. In this VOD, I'm going to do 3 of the maps. I'm not going to do all 5. I think that the Flashpoint map I'm going to skip over because, like you said, it was your first time playing the map, and I don't think that's going to be super beneficial to, go over, a map type that you haven't played really yet. So we can go over that again at some point with a different, scrim. And then I'm also not going to do Rialto because on Rialto it was kind of a steamroll, and those aren't super beneficial for VODs. I think just the main thing with Rialto is just, don't let your shield break on Seg. You did a fairly good job of that. And then, you don't need to necessarily peel for a Doom. That sounds counterintuitive. Like, you turned around, threw your rock, that was great. If you don't hit the rock, though, you kind of just want to turn back around, focus on the other team's backline, because at that point, if you're not hitting the rock, Doom's not going to die anyway. So, but anyway, yeah, let's get into this first map. Kings Row. I thought you did a pretty good job on this map. Again, I just watched these like a couple days ago, so I don't have them completely fresh in my mind. More so like a memory of them, and then obviously my notes. But yeah, holding that choke, great place to be. I think it's fine that you backed up here, considering you don't have a Lucio. But with the Mei, you do want to continue to be as aggressive as you possibly can be here. And if you do back up to this, corner, it's great that you play around that statue, so that way you have the ability to go to the left and stuff. Nice fire strike, good job swinging here, and yeah, just keep chasing on these kills. All good stuff here. I'm gonna skip a little bit here and get to the next part. I don't want to like overload it because I know you're having to watch this back and everything. But yeah, this position right here, great place to hold. You're gonna be able to do a lot of damage with swinging and everything. And you just want to kind of deny the soldier from having space. Tracer, you're not going to be able to deny at all. She's going to get in. She's going to do what she can. I think backing up here early is probably not the call. You kind of want to force something. Since their Tracer is in behind and, you're not really the one to deal with her, you kind of want to be able to force something at that corner. Like I said, you don't want to let soldier in, but like if Rom isn't punching, there's no reason for you to have to back up. You know what I mean? I think your Mei still had wall as well. Good job kiting this damage. This is all good. Team had a great window. Let's get past that. Definitely try to make sure you like chase those kills. This is great onto the bath though. Always whenever someone's leaving, so like if you're playing playing against an offense like this and they're close to their spawn, either first, second, whatever point it might be, always go for the person that has the ability to get out the quickest, but you can still get. So like that Kiriko or soldier is who you wanted to go for, because BAP isn't getting out. Like if your team pushes on that, your team didn't even follow up with you there. If your team pushes on that BAP should die regardless of if you're there or not. If you get the soldier or Kiriko, that's like even more staggers, even more ult charge. Like that's what you want to be doing. So this first shatter, timing wise, good, right? Like you waited till shield was down, like that was really good. problem is that you either have to wait for cleanse to happen, or you have to make sure you get Kiriko with the shatter. So you got the soldier, which is great, but he gets cleansed, and you know, at this point, like, there's nothing you can do with that, and you've committed because, you know, your team, you know, needs to follow up on a shatter, and at that point the fight's over. So yeah, always make sure you're like waiting out cleanse, or you know, you get the Kiriko with the shatter as well. She has to be the first target that dies within shatter. So here, for a lot of this second point here, I saw you trying to poke a lot on D.Va, and you've built some ult charge, right, which is great. You know, like, you're up to 36. That's good. You were at, like, I think 10, 15 after shatter, something like that. But the problem is the D.Va bomb isn't like a super high value ult. I know, like, in tier 2 it's going to be higher value than tier 3 and tier 4 and tier 5 and all that, but it's still not like a super high value ult. Like, it requires the other team to be out of position. So it's great when you can take advantage of that, and you get a lot of D.Va bomb kills, which is awesome. But you also want to use D.Va bomb to be able to remech, and so, like, that's why it's not a super high value ult. So try to avoid poking whenever you're against, like, characters who can poke, like your soldier, you know, Bap, Ram when he's not in Nemesis form, and Kiriko. Like, all of them now, like, are getting ult charge. Like, Soldier's already at 25% after using his visor, after your shatter and everything. Like, you want to avoid giving him ult charge. So there's no reason necessarily to poke. So ideally, you either want to hold this corner, wait for your team, or you want to try and take that corner right in front of you, like where the outline of the payload is on that wall. Like, those are the two places that you can be, and trying to avoid poke. If there's not really a short range character like a Reaper or you know, a Tracer that you're shooting at, or, you know, Sombra, something like that, if there's not a short range character, it's fine, or you don't want to be poking. If there is one of those, like, yeah, great, you can poke all you want. Like, if you're going into Ryan, you know, poke down his shield, all that stuff, great. But try to avoid giving ult charge over to Soldier and stuff, because now, you know, you're at half health. Soldier's already halfway to a visor. They've immorted for some reason, which great for you, but you know, they all they've gotten here is ult charge, and you had to use Matrix, and you haven't really accomplished much with all that, right? Same thing with the rockets. You know, it's fine to use the rockets to poke here, but, like, you instantly, like, you kill the soldier still, which is great. This is a fantastic push from you. Great kill pick from your soldier as well. But if you have rockets here before you push in, like as you're pushing the soldier, he dies way sooner. You can instantly turn, try and go for the BAP then too. You know, it's just like a quicker kind of thing. Like, you don't have to, you know, wait. You don't have to, you know, worry about killing someone slower, like all that stuff. I think if you had rockets there, you probably do end up killing the soldier sooner, and you could probably get a stagger kill onto one of the other two. Excuse me. Similar thing here, you know, like, this is better poke, if that makes sense. Like, you're at a range where it's better for you to be poking, but you still don't want to be giving rails over to the Sojourn. You don't want to be, like, you know, giving ult charge over to that soldier. It's not ideal for your team, right? This is really good PL onto the soldier. Love that. It's great follow up. Great boop onto the BAP too. I love how you focus him more every single time. You know, Rom's throwing. Awesome stuff right there. That was great. All very good. I'll just fast forward through each of, like, the, you know, in between things, so there's not as much waiting. But yeah, that was all really good. And you want to be, like I said, you want to be hugging that wall. Because they don't have ram ult now, if you're hugging that wall right in front of you here on the left, one, they can't burst you out soon enough. Like, the ram ult, you know, if they quickly all peek at the same time, bursted you, and you tried to fly away, but they had ram ult, you know, they might be able to burst you, but now they can't. Plus, you have D.Va bomb to remech if you need it. You know, and if you're over at that wall, they all have to peek into sightline of your team and you in order to be able to, you know, push the cart and do damage. You're still able to contest cart from over there. Like, there's no reason for you to, like, be out in the open like this. I think his bomb gets a couple kills, which is great. No, just get that. Forcing out Immort's great. That's a value bomb, but you do. This is great also, by the way. Fantastic eating on that. Forcing out the Immort's always great, but like I said, you could always use it to remech too. There's some later instances where it means more. Unfortunate, Sojourn slid away. Keep on skipping here. Good try and chase onto the soldier. Just too fast, unfortunately. You used all of your matrix there before you got a chance to like really go in and even touch the payload. So that just kind of makes it harder. I don't blame you for doing it. Your team's kind of out in the open and everything, but you wanna kind of avoid that. Similar to like the poking thing. Like if you're not in range to be able to do anything, and you're trying to get in, like try to avoid using that matrix. That way you have it whenever you do go in. Because now it's like really awkward for you to hold this point. Luckily, the blizzard happens, but you guys are forced to immort. Like if you don't have to immort there, you can go more aggressive. You'll have the immort with the matrix, and it's just way easier there. Doing a great job like focusing down that ram, but I do think probably BAP or Sojourn or whoever is a better target there. Now if your team is hard focused on that ram and you want to like try to eat the heals, then that's fine, right? Like you could send your rockets while you're eating heals on him. You're just like obviously putting your matrix over him and stuff, but you don't really want to be shooting at him with just your like basic primary fire, you know what I mean? Like I almost said R2 for PlayStation buttons, but you're not on PlayStation. Yeah, you don't want to be shooting at him with your primary fire there, because it's just going to take longer for him to die because they're healing him. If you go and focus on BAP, he's not going to be able to heal Ram. Your team can kill Ram, or you could kill BAP even. And that would just get like way more value. But they do end up getting your May because, you guys don't get those kills. And you guys aren't able to like get any of those staggers, which is like super necessary in that scenario. Similarly, like where you died there, no reason to be poking there. They're all out and safe at that point. No reason to really shoot them. Here, your team's not really here yet. I would just kind of back up here. If you do die in a scenario like this, though, always bomb to remech, because now, like, if I know it sucks to like waste bomb in a sense, but like that's like Diva Bomb. You don't always want to use to just get kills. Like in this scenario, now you are out of mech. You either have to get extremely lucky and they all don't kill you as they're pushing the bot, and you just hit all of your shots on them to get mech back, or you have to jump off the map, or worst case scenario, neither of those things happen. They just keep getting free payload presence and push forward because there's no tank to stop them from doing that, and you guys aren't going to be able to get a team fight. Sojourn feeding, lucky for you guys. Yeah, they get the card all the way to the corner here, and there's still nothing you guys can do about it, even with a pick. You know what I mean? Blizzard was nice. Good res. Really good focus onto the soldier here. This is awesome. I think you heals with this bomb too. That's a well-placed bomb. This is just unfortunate. Nothing you can do here, honestly. Good job kiting it. Good focus onto the immort. I would say here, like, try to avoid like keeping his ult up, but it is just you in it and he's not killing you, so it's fine. But like in a scenario where they're pushing, like if they have a Lucio there, you guys probably all get run down by that ROM ult after he stabilizes. Good try trying to peel there. Similar thing here, like you're doing a great job focusing onto the ROM, like your shots are all good, like your team's all going for that, but like if you guys go for like the BAP who's wildly out of position there, like the BAP was right here, You know what I mean? Like, so Bap was like up here when you were shooting at Rom. Like, if you guys go for him, like he just dies. Rom then way easier dies, or like another squishy, whatever it might be. I'm sure at this point your team is all calling for peels on the Rom too, so I get why you're doing it. Like that, they're getting pushed down by the Rom, but they do have to be a little more self-sufficient. It sucks, but you have to play D.Va as more of a main tank now in Overwatch too. Good remech kill. A similar thing there though, like you had like 400 health when you bombed. Your install scenario here, you know, it's great to use bomb as a pick, but like getting that remech for the potential recontest would have been huge. And then you could just toss bomb on point, you know what I mean? Like once you get down to the, like, you know, below 100 health, you toss bomb out. At that point, you know, you've waited for your team to get out longer, like it's all really good. And you still have the potential of getting killed that way if you just toss it on point. Makes it harder for them to, you know, stand on the point to keep contesting in the overtime. But yeah, overall, really solid job. Get to the offense here. I love scrim code, but the one bad thing about doing VODs in scrim code is you don't know when the game's gonna start. So I just do the fast forward. Yeah, overall, solid job though. Try to, you know, take advantage of people out of position, right? But try not to, you know, poke in the way that you would be on D.Va, you know what I mean? You wanna avoid face tanking any DPS damage unless the DPS is in range for you to kill them. If that makes sense.
I'm not relaxed. I just make everything look easy.
Sorry for the wait in between. All right. So I think you switched to Ryan after first fight, if I remember correctly. It's a good pick. You know, it's good to like counter pick on tank, but you always have to like keep in mind like what things are you counter picking on, like the supports and DPS too. And so like Ryan is fine in this scenario. I could be wrong too. I might be like remembering incorrectly. But always, like, this is just a general thing. Always remember, like, if you're playing into an Orisa and you know you want to like swap Zarya because that counters Orisa really hard. Remember, like, do they have like a Bastion? Okay, I'm switching Zarya into Bastion, so I might be hard countering Orisa, but like I'm really bad into Bastion now. So just always kind of think about those things too. Really good push there onto the soldier. Obviously, you know, he doesn't die, but like your team should have been following up on it too. That was a really good attempt to push onto him. Team is somehow winning a fight, and Zarya can't kill a baby D.Va, which is interesting. Not sure about that. That's interesting. Yeah, so it was the Ryan pick, yeah. Yeah, Ryan is good here still. I mean, obviously, like, he's not great in a soldier, but like he's good in everything else they have. Good TP from your team. Nice fire strike. Nice kill into Zarya. This is all really good. So now at your earliest convenience, always on like King's Row as the tank, and some other maps too, when you're capping first like this, you always want to try and take space as much as possible, because on like this is where I'm going to talk about tempo. On the second point of a lot of like hybrid maps and some escort maps too, like Hollywood, King's Row, not as much Kings Row, but Hollywood, you know, Dorado as an escort map, Junkertown as an escort map, Nambani, just a bunch of them. That first point, whether it's easy or hard to capture, the second point is almost always really hard to capture, especially maps like Hollywood. You always want to like try and take space as much as possible as soon as you can and try and get staggers, so that way your team has free cart push, and then like has the tempo of the fight, or controls the tempo of the game. So if you push forward here like early, like right around this time or earlier even, you try and get some staggers onto like BAP, Sojourn, whoever it might be. That's going to make it so you guys get like half of Kings Row second point for completely free. And similarly with like Hollywood and stuff, I know you didn't play Hollywood, I'm just, you know, kind of using it as an example. When you push forward early on these second points, you get that high ground space. It just makes it so much easier for your team to push and get the point for free. There's like no reason for you to be on point at all. You don't even want to hold this choke. You want to be as far forward as you can. Like at that first corner would be great. I'll go up to that. Like way earlier, like I said, you know, like this corner would be great. You get here before Zarya gets here, like your team gets to push up then. And then you quickly can push up to this corner and hold this corner, right? And then at that point, hopefully your team's pushing with you. You guys try and get some staggers. And then by that point, like Zarya is coming out of spawn. She should be getting back. But by that point, you also have wanted to have gotten those staggers, like I mentioned. And if Zarya keeps pushing forward, she gets staggered too. It's just like a whole kind of like, you know, butterfly effect. That's what you want to be doing. You want to control that tempo, control the map presence, especially as someone like Ryan. And one thing, so now like this is great. You're pushing here. This is great, but you've now had to use all of your shield to get here, right? Like you're already at 500 health on the shield. You guys have gotten a pick onto the soldier, but they're still 4 strong. Someone has to be moving the cart, so that's why you want to do it earlier. Here, you know, the window's not great. This is obviously not your fault. Like the window isn't great. Zarya is the only one in it. They all can kite around that corner, but you want to make sure that you always push through this window. Now, what I would recommend doing here is, like, you push through the window, you walk up to this corner right here in front of you on the right-hand side, you know, force those squishies back even further. And Zarya, by that point, is going to be, like, obviously trying to peel for her squishies. Hopefully, your team can take advantage of the fact that, you know, Zarya is still in front of the window. But you want to block off any and all heals to her. So you just shield off the squishies. You can swing on them a little bit, you know, pressure them like I said. But you want to make it so you guys get a pick here with this bad window. And Zarya is the only target. So by standing here, you know, you can get a fire strike. That's great. You know, they do kill her, but like if that BAP immorts, she doesn't die right away, and the BAP should immort. You know, like that's just a misplay from the other team. You want to make it so it doesn't need to be a misplay. This right here. So this is a really good push on a BAP. That you made the absolute right call to push on a BAP. The problem is, again, like the tempo and the timing of it. Because you guys don't have a Lucio, and again, this is not your fault. You guys should have a Lucio with Ryan. That's just unfortunate that you don't. It makes it harder to play Ryan, so you have to really, really think about the timing of things then. So where if you have a Lucio here, you speed onto this BAP, you know, your team should be following up with you. BAP should die. You can turn around quickly, shield, not die. But because you don't have a Lucio, there's no way to speed you and the Bastion or whoever else is following forward. You end up getting punished for it. So you need to play this slower since you don't have a Lucio, but think about those timing things whenever you do or don't have a Lucio. You know, again, like I said, you made the right call to push, but you have to think about the fact that there's no Lucio there to help you. Or, you know, Lucio is one of the biggest tempo supports in the game. Alright. Push them back. This is all fine. You want to be looking for shatter as soon as you can here. You know, kind of like on Ryan, you just kind of shatter on cooldown. You know, you just want to like hit whatever shatter you can. Shatter this BAP. You know what I mean? So like you build back Shatter pretty quick, and you know it's not a fantastic haul. Like it can be big. Like you get a 5-man Shatter, like that is a thing, but it requires them to like, completely outplay the Rhine or the Rhine to be an idiot. Just solo Shatter the bat, free kill. That's what you want to do. You end up getting the kill onto the BAP. Good job blocking the res. I do think that you could have backed up a little bit sooner here. I don't remember if you die or not. No, they just didn't push, so fine. I think as you're rezzing, though, you do want to back up just a little bit sooner, so, like as your shield's dying, so that way you don't have to, you know, worry about potentially getting picked here. I think they kill you if they don't stop shooting there. Good try on the block. It still got Mercy, unfortunately, but like you just accidentally jumped onto the cart, not on you. And again, you know, the window wasn't great. Like that you're playing the corner here. This is good. Baited inward. It's awesome. So again, if you guys don't get a pick onto this run here, or even if you do get a pick onto this run here, it may be the call to Shatter immediately, right? So like, Shatter is one of those tempo alts. So like, think about this. Again, I don't remember exactly what happens, but you just want to be like looking for the Shatter here as soon as possible. You guys get the pick, so that's good then. I don't think you needed to die there, unfortunately, but that's what it is. Res comes off. But yeah, you just want to be looking for Shatter as early as possible again. Built it back very quick, like I mentioned. Definitely be looking for a Shatter. Again, not a great window, unfortunately. Not your fault. And here, take space. So I think like normally like the play for me is like if I'm playing tank, I'm gonna probably hold the left door. You can hold the right door too, it doesn't really matter, but the left door is usually just like a little bit easier. People come out of it more too for some reason, so it's just usually the better door to hold. So yeah, you want to like push up here. There's no reason for you to be on cart. You want to take the space. And again, just solo Shatter someone here. Unfortunate. The boop up. Just Shatter anything at that point, you know what I mean? Like I said, Shatter, just control the tempo, just get staggers. If you hit a Shatter on one person, it's completely okay. You just want to hit anyone. Unfortunate. I don't mind the diva pick here, I like it. So similar thing, you don't want to be poking here. You want to save Matrix when your team's forward and then ready to, like, you know, support you, whether that be BAP or Mercy follow you, or, you know, Bastion, Sim TP, that sort of thing. You want to have all of your Matrix ready to be able to immediately dive that high ground, right? So you don't want to give Sojourn rails, and you want to get them off that high ground. So you play at this like corner right here. Let me go in here. So play at this corner right here without taking damage if you can. You know, play like right here-ish, so they can't see you. Again, you don't want to give Sojourn rails, and your poke does nothing from this range. Just be ready to dive that high ground again as soon as your teammates are ready to support you. Push them off, and you may even get a kill, like if Sojourn slides incorrectly. But that's what you want to be doing. Good follow-up onto their TP. Nice Bastion ult. Again, you know, even with the window, you don't do any poke, so it's good that you dropped. Unfortunate, the trap. Here, so that was really good, right? You went onto the junk, you took the tire, all perfect. The one part you now messed up on is you didn't grab the mega. As soon as you start flying towards like the junk, assume he's gonna hit the tire on you. Just immediately like turn for that mega. Fast remake because Ryan didn't attempt to block any of your shots. Nice kill onto the Bab. Good chase on the Sojourn for a slide. That was really good. All very good stuff. And then here is where you want to get aggressive. So you're full health. You want to get super aggressive onto them. No need to be shooting the Ryan shield necessarily. You just want to push onto those squish. You just go really hard onto one of them, whether it be Kiriko or Sojourn. Good chase on junk and really good job. Nice. So yeah, solid stuff like I mentioned, you know. Don't want to be poking out too much on Diva. Like I said, if they're in range, absolutely pokes. That way you can go onto them. If they're a short range character, like they can't build a lot of ult charge off you or do a lot of damage, also similar. And then the other thing too is, so like there are scenarios where you do want to like be taking damage on tank to give your supports ult charge, but that just isn't one. That's normally when you're playing Winston and you're trying to build nano, that kind of stuff. Alright, so your team kind of sold here. Obviously this isn't on you, your team was slow. Still beat them there though. I think they already used both bubbles, which is huge. You're going to be immediately going for this Mei, right? So, like, here, no idea why she pushed in. Your Bastion should be looking to, like, throw a grenade down right behind her so she gets booped in. You know, sim turrets are there to slow her as well. You should be looking to, like, fly into her from, like, the side, like, from her right, or from your right, rather. Like, fly in and boop her towards the wall to the left, you know? Like, that's what you want to be looking for here. You want to make it so she cannot get out. Great that you followed up onto that, got the pick. I don't mind going for the regroup here. Definitely try to help your Bastion out if you do go for the regroup though. But yeah, I think that was probably smart to go for the regroup and swap. Almost. Good try. They already used wall, so this is when you want to be aggressive. So you know they don't have wall. You want to go as aggressive as possible here. You don't want to sit back here at the choke. You want to start to go in. That's like that. Those, you always want to think about those sorts of timings, like when you're playing into a bash and you know go after turret, all that sort of stuff. Wall is a huge one. Again, wall. You want to be really aggressive here. And because you guys are kind of sitting in the courtyard, like you're relying on a pick to happen. Coalescence was interesting. But yeah, you guys are just kind of relying on a pick to happen, and that's just not ideal for the team. You know, I mentioned that the Ryan pick is solid here. It is good into what they have, right? But it doesn't necessarily work with your comp. So again, like playing Ryan without a Lucio is hard. Which is fine, you can definitely do it. But playing like Ryan with Hanzo and Zarya, or Hanzo and Pharah, even harder, right? So like the only thing that really synergizes with you here is BAP. And Hanzo can work. Like I've definitely seen Hanzo work, and I've played Hanzo in like Rush or Brawl comps. But like when you add Pharah and Hanzo, it's just too pokey. You kind of don't want to necessarily play Ryan here. I don't know your entire hero pool, but like I know you play Sigma. Like Sig would probably be working pretty well here. It's not great into Zarya, but like it works really well. It synergizes with your team comp. And again, like, you're just relying on a pick, so you might as well not play the Ryan because you want to control tempo on Ryan, and your team's not doing that. You're not being able to do it because you don't have a Lucio. You got to probably play something like a Sigma here for it to get full value. Good follow up on the carry. Nice. Okay, so here you want to absolutely make sure you get the Zarya. That was a fumble from your team, and the Zarya has to die there. Staggers are big, obviously, and they're at 98%, so like you need to get like all the staggers you possibly can. But more importantly, like, you have to get that charge off of her. Now she's supercharged. She didn't get staggered. The team's just not in a great position for that. So even if you had to commit Shatter to get her, like, she needs to die there. Great Shatter. Good follow-up because they had all the help they could possibly get there. I think it was smart to kite like you did. Unfortunate your team died behind you. Again, you don't really want to be swinging on the Zarya here. You want to get on Dolari as soon as possible. Good that you recognize she was the target. Unfortunate she doesn't die. But yeah, like I mentioned on first map, you know, like tempo is going to be the biggest thing we need to talk about. And you know, as Reinhardt, he is a tempo tank. If you can't control the tempo because your team's not playing like a comp to fit you, you probably can't play the Rhine. It's always just going to make it harder. I don't remember what happens on RAM here. I remember third point really well. I remember control center, but I don't remember this one very well.
Ready for battle. Ready for battle.
Okay. Good focus on the Bastion. Can't really help the picks. It's just unfortunate your team got folded before there was even a chance. I don't mind that pathing. I think that's fine to go that way. Don't want to deal with any boobs if you don't have the Lucio. I think that's fine. So yeah, here this is one of the things where I was mentioning earlier, like Zarya into Zarya, obviously good, right? You can get away with other things too, like the Rhine here. But Rhine or Zarya here is really bad into the rest of their comp, right? So like you don't have a Lucio to begin with, so like that's problematic, right? So like you can't speed onto a target, which stinks. But even if you have a Lucio, like Bastion, you know, you have to play around turret. He's hard even without turret to play into a Zarya or Rhine. Hanzo, you know, he can poke you from a distance. It's hard to get onto him. Sojourn, same thing. She's a poke character, and Kiriko, even if she's not poking, has the ability to TP away. So like, probably have to again, you know, play sort of like a more pokey tank, or you know, just something that can like push into those things well. Like Orisa is more of a brawl / rush tank now, but like Orisa into this would be fine because like you can do some damage from range and you can like have a lot of damage mitigation for yourself as well. And even though it's bad into Zarya, it's great into the rest of their team. Or you know, Sigma here. I even think the ROM here was better because at least you can kind of switch up. Now, the one thing that you can't control is your team just dying on repeat to the Hanzo. So that's unfortunate. You guys are just getting folded by the Hanzo. nothing to do there. It's pathing completely fine. The one thing that might be hard about this is I do think it might be good to go bridge if you know that they're not all there, because now you're like going into a really small area with, you know, Hanzo spamming down at you, Bastion spamming at you. Like, they have a lot of like damage that is really good in small areas. I mean, that's just unfortunate. It's not on you, but like, be aware. This is why it's hard to play Zarya there. Be aware of like what exactly your team is doing at the time. So like Ashe and Mercy there like have no way to help you. Like they're poking from distance over there on the side. You only have like one person helping you, and it's a Moira. Try to play, you know, I know you needed a touch there shortly, but you do have the Sombra, so, you know, try and play around cover there a little bit, like get to the left side as soon as possible instead of like using your bubbles just to get some charge there. Perfect timing on that one. I think your Bab kind of sells you here, if I remember correctly. Yeah, you go into the corner here on the left, and Bab just doesn't heal you. It's unfortunate. Wall isn't great. You can try and kite the turret. You don't want to be like so your Bap does completely like let you die here, but you definitely don't want to be taking any of that turret damage. It was him that walked in the corner, not you. Yeah, you don't want to take any of that turret damage. Like that's where, like, you know, it's hard to play into the Bastion. Like it's still fine to play Ryan here, especially because you have a Lucio now. But like you got to play around that Bastion damage, Bastion turret mode. Again here, you know, you need to back up there. It's so. When the Bastion's in turret mode there, you do a really good job getting your team out right there. So like you and Lucio get around that corner, your Reaper's still in, you shield him back out, great. You still have like 300 shield at that point, that's fine. But you walk right back in, immediately lose your shield, and now like there's no team fight that can happen for you when you want it to happen, which is while Bastion's on turret mode. So if as soon as you see that turret mode, you guys back out around that corner, he wastes the turret mode, you instantly speed back in, that's when you want to be taking those fights. So you still have some shield if they're doing like crazy damage. You have shield to like, you know, block off Zarya from doing splash damage or damage to you. But now, you know, you don't have shield, Bastion's not in turret mode. Just not ideal for the team. You may have missed the Bastion walking top left here, but there's a couple times where like Bastion's on stage either by himself or like just with one other person. He's still the person you want to push. And again, like when it's on turret mode, but like sitting right here in choke isn't doing anything for your team. You're like kind of trying to play poke. You have to be like a little more dominant. And again, now you've pushed him. You pushed him like after the turret mode went, right? Like, but that's great. But like you were in his line of sight during the turret mode the whole time, taking damage from him and other people. You don't have the shield to like block off as you're getting to him, and there's just no way to like make that fight happen. So Bastion again up on stage here. Wait out this turret mode, then get ready to push into him. I think if you don't let your shield die there, it's possible that you like they use two ults here. You guys are probably using this anyway, but it's possible that if you don't use all your shield there, you hear he's out of turret mode going into ult, you quickly walk forward and pin him. That may be the only way to outplay that, but that requires then your team like completely all like ridiculously fast speeding forward, and I know that's not always going to be easy to do with, you know, a tier 2 team. So that one, you know, maybe could have been played better, but definitely not on you. That's just one way you possibly could have outplayed it, and even then there's no guarantees that would have worked. I think the D.Va pick is better into what they have. Good follow-up onto Bastion, that's great. I think that going for Hanzo next is the correct call. Definitely wait for your team to get into position to help you, though. I'm not sure exactly what your BAP was doing. Let's see, where did BAP die? Yeah, so BAP died on point for some reason. Like, that's not on you. Like, your support shouldn't just run into a Zarya by themselves. That's on them. But, like, I think, like, you do in general want to play a little more passive there after, like, taking a bunch of that damage. You know, and it's fine if your tanks or if your supports are, like, instantly with you. Like, it makes it more fine. But you gotta make sure that they're instantly with you. Yeah, that's just that for that map. There's nothing else here. Jump into Route 66. You know, like I said, I'm not gonna do the Flashpoint or Route 66 or Rialto rather. Sorry. Okay. So this is the first we got to see your SIG. Liked it. I think there were some really good things. One thing I noticed is you were letting your shield get really low or break. So like on SIG, you never ever want to let your shield break. Like that's like if you absolutely have to, like worst case scenario you can. But SIG shield isn't like. It's not like Winston Shield or, you know, Ryan Shield or Old Orisa Shield. Like, you have to play SIG Shield as, like, a ability / high damage denier, if that makes sense. You're not just, like, blocking damage. You need to be blocking the right damage. So, right there, you know, Sojourn's really, like, the only one who's going to be ridiculously poking at you. Ana also has the ability to do a lot of poke, but she's probably not going to be doing that in this tier. So the things you're going to want to be blocking here in this comp are like ultimates like Shatter, like Reaper ult, maybe, you know, like Sojourn ult, right? But you outside of that, you want to be blocking like rails. So like if Sombra or if Sojourn's, I may have said Sombra a couple times. Sorry if I did. Sojourn, if she's fully charged, you want to be looking to block that. If Sojourn's taking an off angle, like to the, you know, maybe like they're on point and Sojourn's up here, maybe you want to be like blocking that sort of stuff. Like if she's taking an off angle, you block her off. The rest of the team can't really do damage to you. You hold her off. She has to reposition. That's great too. You want to be looking to block sleeper anti, which in this case, you know, you let shield break, you got antied. Luckily, they can't follow up on it yet, but like that's one thing you got to be looking for. And that's pretty much it. Like the main thing is going to be like off angle and rails, like cooldowns. No need to like leave shield to be blocked in, and most of the time, like that's almost always the case with Sigma. So really good that you're like you can contest cart from the high ground here. If you stand in front of the sign, that's what you kind of want to do. So you want to like, what you're going to ideally be doing on SIG here is you're going to want to like, once they get the cart to this gas station, you want to be standing up here and like doing poke damage, you know, stalling the cart a little bit. And then when they're like starting to get you low, or, you know, like, you know, like Ryan can make the jump from cart to here. That's when you want to start like backing up. You want to like stall this payload out, give your team who is poke a chance to like get a kill here and there, while the cart's not moving. Really good focus on the Ana. Try to when you're playing into a comp like this, try to time your E with a fire strike, because that way you like guarantee you get like a good amount of damage coming your way. Similar thing here, like this is another position to like really hold cart from. You just stay at this corner and like you can test cart. See, like you are, no reason to drop there. Unfortunate your team used ult, but that was all really good from you. You played that completely well. The other thing I didn't mention, so another use for shield, and this is probably the biggest one, I'm not sure how I forgot it. when you're playing into a Ryan, whether they're playing with an Ana, Bap, Kiriko, whatever it may be, and this can work with various tanks, but Ryan is like the biggest one. So Ryan runs you over if you're on the same level as him. If you shield off, if he's pushing you, and you throw shield behind him and block off, in this case, Ana's sight of line on him, or line, I said side of line, line of sight on him, she can't heal him, he dies. That's the way you outplay a Ryan here is Sig. So that's like the you want to be guarding off angles, you know, cooldowns like nade and stuff. The ults like shatter, but the biggest one heals off of Ryan if he's pushing you. So throw shield onto their Ana, you know, behind the Reinhardt. She can't do anything. She has to reposition. That takes time, and in that time you may be able to kill him. This is an absolutely fantastic first Flux. You not only was it like great, you did everything you possibly could have wanted. You got 4 with it. You also followed up on the Lucio who had beat. That was really, really, really good. Your team over-ulted a little bit, but that's on you. I mean, like, obviously, like, I'm well aware now, like, you're good with comms. You know, that little time I got to play with you, it was awesome. You calm a lot. Great. So just make sure you're calling those ults. Like, I don't think that was on you. I'm assuming, like, your Sojourner Mercy didn't call it. But, yeah. Really good Flux. Really good rock here. Unfortunate, you know, your rock was fantastic. The Torball was also good. I think someone got picked there a little bit early. I don't remember exactly. Not on you there at all. Like, you rocked Ryan. You can't rock both Ryan, what's it called, being nanoed and Reaper ult. That's not on you. It's unfortunate they had so many ults. That's why, like, last fight, you guys didn't want to use all of those ults. Like, if you have Mercy ult there, you guys can sustain through it. If you guys have Sojourn ult there, you may be able to get a pick before they get off the Shatter or Blossom. That's not on you. Definitely push up to this high ground in front of you here. This is kind of like the thing I was mentioning on last map where, like, the other team wants to, like, push forward and get staggers to control the tempo. You on defense want to avoid that, right? So, like, great that you guys regrouped. That was all really good. But you want to make sure they can't take the space too, and taking this high ground as early as you can is really important. Nice rock. I don't mind you dropping here because you guys have picks and you're just contesting cart. I like that. Very good. And Torb was cleaning up kills. Huge. Yeah, that was all really good. So them going left here is, like, perfect for you. You want to, like, push up here a little bit. You know they don't have shatter, so you don't have to worry about that. You want to make it so their hit scans can't get a lot of value, and the way their hit scans get value is by getting out of that tunnel and into, like, this like above garage area. So you want to push up on this really soon so they can't come up here. And that's a great shield, but you want to be in range so, like, you can do damage from there, right? So, like, if you're doing damage from there, not only are you able to, like, shield off like you just did, but you're denying that space with your body and with, like, the crazy amount of damage that you and your team can pump into that room. Luckily, they didn't push, even though they have a Lucio. If you push up there, like I mentioned, you guys might get a couple more kills, but more importantly, you're going to have Flux. So you have Flux really early for this next fight. Definitely, you also want to be looking for Flux really early on this next fight. At the very least, a force out beat. Good try on the follow-up there. He gets nanoed. I actually think if you flux there, you guys get a ridiculous 4K. I mentioned earlier how you guys don't want to use too many alts, and it really stinks that you've now used like the Tor Bolt and stuff. But the Tor Bolt was bad. You know, like again, you don't have flux, but I'm talking about if you had set up further and poked. I'm sorry. Tor Bolt wasn't great. Mercy ult was definitely not needed. If you guys just had flux and like the Alari ult, that would have been huge. Good follow up. So yeah, you want to be starting off this fight looking for ult. That's what you want to be doing. So when they drop right here, that's a really good time to look for it, because now they're inside of your team. They don't have a lot of natural cover. Like, that sign is the only point, and they're still pretty grouped up. Like, if you flux when they're all in that little like valleyway where Orion is right now, like you get 5, right? Like just before this, you would get 5. That'd be fantastic, but you wouldn't have follow-up. So like when they drop is like when you want to be looking for it. It's like right now, this is like you get a quick 3-man flux, you're gonna get kills on it. Glad you used Flux there. Did only get Ryan, but you get the follow-up onto him. That's really good. Good job getting that cast his face. Nice rock. Really good. Nice job. Really good job. Really good job. Forward a little bit.
Ready for battle.
Yeah, so I think your play style tends to be a little more like wanting to poke.
Ready for battle.
So like you had some things to work on there as Sig, but like you really fit the play style of Sig. So really like on Rhine, that's what you're going to be wanting to work on, like controlling that tempo. And then like obviously not poking on D.Va, but you have really good follow-up on the D.Va. Like you do a really good job of like, you know, chasing down kills and stuff. Unfortunately, your Tracer dies. Not much you can do about that. So similar thing, like I mentioned on a previous map, you want to be, I think it was on Kings Row, yeah, you want to be looking to save Matrix for the dive, right? So like when your team is in a position to get into the dive here, so like when Sombra's behind them, Genji like ready to dash in or just jump up, you know, Lucio's in a position to like, you know, fly up there. You want to be able to have it at least, if not more than half of your Matrix. And if that by that point you're able to do that and dive, like you guys should have a really successful dive. Because the timing of your dive was really good. Like you went up there right as Genji went up there. I'm not sure where Sombra is, but like the timing was really good. That was really, really good. But you just didn't have the Matrix to sustain it, and you guys are forced off. Good chase on the Soldier. Good follow up with your Sombra too. That was really good. I like that you went up there to, you know, try and help. And then right now, like, you definitely want to follow up on this Bastion sooner. Unfortunate. Because you guys didn't get that first dive clean off, there was never really you know, a sustained fight that ended up being able to happen. You guys never got to, you know, push a second dive. See, like right here, you have bomb already. There's no reason to poke here, and you now have no matrix. And I think you send bomb here and get a couple kills, which is great. But even if you do, like, the ideal and like sustainable situation and sustainable way to dive this is, you know, you don't take any damage. Maybe you matrix yourself and your team across to this right side where that mini is, and that way you just have like a little bit quicker of a dive. And then by that point, you know, you have your matrix back, you wait for your matrix to get back, you get up to the high ground with them, you engage that dive, and if the fight's going poorly, you know, they're using ults, whatever, at that point, then you can send bomb. And you've already, you know, engaged a dive, you've hopefully at that point, if you dove together, killed someone, or at least forced ults, forced cooldowns, and then you have the ability to use bomb to either remech or, you know, follow up on those kind of things. Yeah, so like I said, it was a great ult. You got kills with it. That was awesome. But the more sustainable way to do it is by like actually doing the dive. Really good follow up on that Mercy. That I know you didn't kill her, but like awesome that you kept her from being able to self heal there. That was really good. Good try on this follow up soldier. I know you guys don't kill him. You guys should have killed him here. Don't think it was all on you though. There's no follow up from your team besides Sombra. Genji had a death wish. Again, no reason to really be poking here. You're going to be looking to set up to like get onto that high ground with the Bastion and Soldier whenever you can. You don't want to be like getting to half health and no matrix. Now your team's committed ults, and it didn't mean anything, unfortunately. They wasted a Lari ult, so that's good for you guys. I think so. This is like a full team thing. I think pathing bottom here, it sounds stupid, but it's probably the right thing since you're doing dive. If you guys path bottom, I'll show you what I mean by that. So you guys come out of spawn, you know, go here or over here and come this way. Come through here, you matrix your team in this way. You either force them to come down and fight you, or, you know, you're now in a position where you can have a quick and easy dive. Whereas, like, when you're pushing from over here, you're still relying on, like, really good picks from the DPS and stuff, since you can't poke. Like, Genji's gonna have to hit some headshots with some Sombra follow-up. If you do it the way I said, you know, Sombra can come this way, look for a hack from high ground. She's already in position from over here, or, you know, behind them over that way. You can be down here, get a quick dive, without taking any damage, without having to use matrix. You know, you can go up this way, follow up that way, you can go like behind on the stairs. All of this is just like thinking about taking the path of least resistance. And you know, if you go either like this way through the gap, you know, you're gonna take a lot of damage. And if you go through the high ground this way, you're gonna take a lot of damage. You're gonna have to use unnecessary cooldowns, and like there's a lot of resistance that you're gonna run into. So like as someone who's super vocal, and like again your vocalness is like a massive asset. I've not seen you play a lot, but like I would imagine it's one of your biggest assets. It's really, really good. You could be the person that's like thinking about that stuff and saying like, hey, let's path this way so we're not like taking a bunch of damage in, or you know, that way we can get an easy dive onto them. Just think about that stuff. So you're having to use all of your matrix just to get to this little room, and then you started the fight with half matrix, and you have to use all of it to get out too. And the whole thing's just, it's so unfortunate. And playing this way again, it probably relies on you getting picks with bomb, which it works in this tier often, but like it's not super sustainable. Like bomb can be out positioned. Like if you're sending bomb like that and you're playing against a coordinated team, they shouldn't die. Realistically, they should just all walk around that corner and into the small room. Big pick onto the Mercy. Good job helping your Genji. Unfortunately, he dies to the Bastion ult. Really good chase here on the Soldier. Lari's feeding. I like you're going for her. You're just doing a lot of damage here. This is great. Killing all them. Following up on Mercy. All this is really good. I like you taking this high ground here early too. This is like a similar thought to like what I mentioned, you know, in King's Row about taking that space. You're controlling the tempo doing this. This is really good. Probably not necessary to bomb, honestly. I don't think they get out regardless, but I don't mind it. You're making sure they can't come. Good chase onto the low ROM. Make sure you like let him go after he starts punching though if he's not killable. Good eat onto the Lari ult. And good job getting out too. That was really important that you didn't get the mech there. Unfortunately your Genji didn't, you know, follow the same suit and try and get out, but you made a good play there. It is unfortunate. Again, just, you know, look for the Bastion more than ROM. Good job on the Bastion. Nice chase on the Mercy. Nice. Helping the Genji out. Good chase on the Mercy yet again. This is really good. Unfortunately, she gets out. Good follow up on the Mei. This is all really good. Love that you went instantly into his face. That's awesome. Stay with him, obviously, though. Last fight, I don't mind it. Yeah. And that's all. Good job. Like I said, if you have any questions, you know, please let me know. I'm gonna get ready to end it there. But, you know, I guess the last few words, just kind of, you know, think about, like, tempo, think about your positioning, think about the path of, like, least resistance when you're playing things like D or just, like, a dive in general. Or even rush, you know, you can always, like, if you're playing Reinhardt, like, what am I going to need my shield the least to get to somewhere we want to be? That sort of stuff. So, yeah, good job. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll send you the link. Have a good one.